All right, we're back with the Screen Team. We are doing movie reviews for you right here on KWOC. And, of course, our slogan is, we want you to know before you go. We want you to know before you hit the theater, before you go to the Red Box, before you put it in your queue on your Netflix subscription. We want you to know how good these movies are before you partake in them. So a next movie we're going to be reviewing for you this evening is a movie called Monsters. And this movie was released several years ago. And what is that supposed to be?
I was mimicking the monsters.
Looks like you're doing like little spider.
Go on.
You want me to go on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, thanks. I appreciate that. Anyway, so the movie is called Monsters. It was directed by Gareth Edwards, who, if you're familiar with him, he directed Rogue One, Star Wars story. Mm-hmm. He also directed the latest Godzilla film. This was kind of the film that kind of propelled him to that superstardom as far as the director goes. So
how so?
How so?
Yeah. What did he do that was so spectacular in this movie?
He made a low-budget film amazing.
Yes, he did.
So if someone makes a low-budget film amazing, to me, that gives them credibility to handle a more popular property, don't you think?
I do. And you told me some other stuff about this movie that actually fascinated me.
Yeah, I forgot. What did I say?
About where they shot it and how they shot it.
Oh, yeah. They shot a lot of it in Mexico, right? Is that what I said?
I think so.
Okay,
yes.
Cool. All right. I'm one for one.
They you didn't get the rights to a lot of stuff.
Right. They did a lot of rogue shooting, if you will. They didn't get permits, and they used a lot of the locals that were there at the time. You know, like, hey, Joe Smith.
Drive my boat.
Yeah, drive my boat. We'll put you in this movie. So that aspect of it's very, very cool. And you can kind of feel that with the movie. The movie's kind of set in this apocalyptic world, kind of present day, and we find out that there is an alien
life form.
Would you say occupation?
They've infected areas, they call it.
Okay, so these aliens have affected parts of mainly the Mexico area, correct?
Yeah, Central America.
At least that's what we know.
They've been held at bay out of the United States in the California area. Mm-hmm. Because our two main characters are trying to get to the
States.
The States.
Right.
And they hire people in Mexico to transport them when they realize that the annual migration of the monsters, mm-hmm. Alien life forms, which have been there for 6 years, have hit their migration areas sooner. And they have all these areas completely walled off. Mm-hmm. And you can't go in and out of them until the migration is over. And it's where humans have accepted that there's extraterrestrial life forms now living in the world and in our oceans, and they're huge. They're ginormous squid-like things that can walk on land, and they can terrorize and tear up anything and everything in its path. But you get kind of the impression that if you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone. Just, don't get in their way.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, you can see where they have just demolished giant buildings and cities and areas. And so it's sort of like a parallel to treating humans as aliens in a sense. And there's a lot of parallels in this movie, and you can spend another whole show talking about stuff like that. But
it's very true.
They put this wall up to keep the creatures in an area and keep the humans out of it. But there are humans still living there.
They put up a wall in Mexico?
Yeah.
What?
And this movie was made in 2010?
Something like that, yeah.
Again, another show.
Different show. Definitely different topic, too.
What happens, though, they get over there and they find out that, oh my gosh, I can't give it away.
So let's start off with the basic premise of this story. Obviously, we've mentioned the monsters. We've mentioned the setting of what's going on. But our main story is we have these two individuals. We have
one's a photographer, like works for like he gets $50,000 photos. You have to know that. That's important. And the girl is just the daughter of the company this guy sells photos to.
And his job is to do what?
Save her, get her back to the States. She shouldn't be there in the first place because she's supposed to be getting married or something back in the States.
Wonderful job of description.
Thanks.
So what did you think of this film? Did you enjoy it?
I did. It's a little slow.
Yeah, it's very, very slow. That's one thing I would warn the folks out there is, when you expect aliens, you expect alien invasion, you'd expect some excitement in this film, and you don't
there's
really
not
get
a whole
it.
lot of this. Even when you see the creatures, it's sort of like la 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 la.
Yeah.
It's just really unimpressive, but at the same time mesmerizing.
Yeah, I agree. But what was impressive is when you watch the special effects in this film, the special effects weren't done by some big Hollywood studio. It was done by the director and probably some of his friends or whatever. They did it on their own kind of laptop, which makes, this Gareth Edwards guy even more impressive. I'm not saying that the special effects are, amazing and you've got to see them, but for what he did, I think it's pretty spectacular.
You don't watch this movie and go, oh man, those special effects look so amateur. You don't do that.
Yeah, I agree. And I really, really enjoyed this film, especially how everything comes kind of full circle at the end. You've definitely got to watch it all the way through to the end. But we'll warn you, the movie is kind of slow. So if this is something you want to partake in.
It's a good movie to go to bed to. Like if you watch movies in bed, you just pop this one in. Get you some popcorn and just snuggle up and just, not plan on doing anything for the next 2 hours.
All right. The movie is called Monsters, and it's one of those you can find on DVD. Coming up after the break, we're going to review the classic movie Sister Act with Whoopi Goldberg. It's next on KWOC.